one last thing. Check out White Raw's stream when he plays. It's actually, I don't understand a word he says, but he says it so adorably that I want to hear him say it more. It's, I can't explain the occurrence. And he's also like, he'll have Hydras pouring in. Let's give it up, yeah. My story's dumb anyway, so. All right, so we're just going to get right into it. We do have the yellow Protoss, Startail, Squirtle in the lower left-hand corner. In the top right-hand corner, we do have FXOSheth. Okay.
Looks like a lot of Sheth fans in here.
Could be some Sheth fans in here. Why not? He is absolutely awesome. I talked a little bit about how this map is pretty, it's a susceptible map to timings. You could see that kind of play. Squirtle, again, a little bit of an anomaly. He is going to go with the pylon at the base of the ramp, usually indicative of a Forge expand. And again, that's kind of an interesting opening on this map because, quite frankly, with how open the natural area is, it's really hard to get coverage with those photon cannons. Of course, we've seen MC change up the play a little bit by going really fast Void Ray. So even if you do a Roach kind of Ling timing, it doesn't necessarily yield the best results for some Zergs.
Yeah, but he will, I mean, he has to get those extra cannons down there just to be safe, and that might eat into a couple of units. MC is a world-class player. I'm not sure if Sheth has this perfectly timed out or if he knows exactly what to do from this position, but I'm sure he will react appropriately. A gas goes down immediately.
Squirtle's stealing the minerals really early. This is ridiculous.
Advantage Squirtle immediately.
What a thief.
So spawning pool will go down. This is very standard coming out from Zerg. Normally you get that extractor down to get the metabolic boost up, get the spawning pool down, and you get the metabolic boost out. And that allows you to just run around. It threatens run-bys, so even if you make cannons, you can just disregard it completely. And look at that. Nexus goes down.
We'll see a Nexus first, which means somewhere in the realm of 4,000 Zergs just cried out in pain. Much like when Alderaan exploded, but that was not all Zerg players. Worth noting. Now he is going to follow it up with a Forge, and based upon his read, he's saying, you know what, I can get a Photon Cannon down before you make any Zerglings that kind of pose a threat. And that might seem like the stuff of a terrible, terrible nightmare, but it is of course true. And these Zerglings are going to be produced. We do have the spawning pool quivering, which means that Squirtle is aware that metabolic speed upgrade is being done now. It's going to be interesting to see, does Sheth go with the cancel and any kind of cheese or tomfoolery, or does he just follow it up with some macro play? With that drone heading out, it's usually indicative of the hatchery going down. Zerglings can try to prevent this pro from getting additional information. And yeah, so there goes the hatchery. Metabolic still being upgraded, so my spidey senses are saying no cheese just yet, Greetor. No cheese just yet.
Well, it's important to note that, in fact, Sheth doesn't know that this Nexus is down yet. He's completely in the dark. We can see that the Overlord is just hovering over here. So this Nexus should have been harassed much, much earlier, but because there was no drone scout, there's no Zergling scout or Overlord scout, it's, you know, kind of a lot safer than it should have been. Second Photon Cannon is down, and that just solidifies the position. These Zerglings get in here, and they're like, oh my god, what the butt.
Yep, and he's going to get here and find out the Protoss is already mining. It's much like starting a game of Monopoly, except your opponent already has Boardwalk. It's just not a good place to be. If you've ever played a game of Monopoly that way, usually it's against an older brother that lied to you in some way, shape, or form. Now that probe is going to tuck itself into the corner. If forgotten, this could pose problems later, TLO, but it's not going to be the case.
Oh.
What are you guys grumbling about? That was awesome.
I know.
Come on.
And Sheth is just finishing this expansion now. Now that is really, really tough. Having that Nexus out for so much longer, we can see there is a small, small Harvester disparity. The second Queen is out, so it'll be able to inject larvae immediately. However, the Harvester lead, I mean, Zerg normally want to keep that. Pretty soon we will see a huge influx of Zergling, or excuse me, of drones. But already it's starting off in advantage Squirtle.
I mean, that's one of the things you have to kind of weigh. Both players are negotiating this mentally. What's going on is that Sheth needs to overcome the economy of the Protoss. He needs to compensate for this early lead that the Protoss took just by builds. And in doing so, he needs to take a really fast third hatchery. However, he has to do that with constantly being worried, is he going for some kind of early attack? And if so, what shape or form is it going to take? Some Protoss go Stargate and pose that threat with the Void Ray followed by a Phoenix. Others add lots of gateways, and ladies and gentlemen, I'm counting 1, 2, 3 and 4 gateways. Usually this will become 5 or 6. Pick up 6, but it's not going to be the case here. We're just going to sit at 4, and this actually, at that number, sometimes allows the Protoss to get more units out earlier as opposed to more units just in total, although slightly later. So we'll have to see if Squirtle's going to apply that pressure or if he's going to allow Sheth the time and space to go ahead and get that drone count up there.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Squirtle is actually getting a 3rd and 4th assimilator behind this, so it makes me kind of think he's just settling down. He's comfortable where he is right now. He's saying, okay, I'm just going to build up a little bit of an army and then tech afterwards. I'm not exactly sure what his plan is just yet, but getting all this gas does indicate that he wants to tech somewhere or another.
We do have a Suicide Overlord making its way into Squirtle's base. Of course, at best, it will see 2 additional gateways. Sheth doing a great job of getting all the information he possibly can, perusing the front of that base at the natural with his Zerglings, now seeing a bunch of bubble blowers or sentries, as well as the Zealots in tow. He's not going to get any more information than that. Of course, we don't have much tech to speak of. Squirtle is not going for the very popular Fast Dark Templar now as well, another option that the Protoss can do. There is no Stargate. He's just kind of pumping out units, and you know what? I get the sense that Squirtle's trying to feel out his opponent as well.
Yep.
Perhaps he's not too aware of Sheth's style or kind of how he wants to go about this. Of course, as I say that, he's now pushing across the map. Pylon does go down, and this could be the beginnings of some pressure.
Yeah, and this is just to say, again, Sheth, make some units, and don't make just drones. Income cap shows 44 to 47, so they are kind of about the same. It's not a huge deal. This one Phoenix, at least hallucinated Phoenix, is going to get in here and see exactly what Sheth is doing, and it just sees very, very standard, normal stuff. Now, the big thing that he should notice is, hey, there's not a third or fourth gas. There's just now the 2nd gas. He can click on that extractor and see how much gas is being mined from that. So that should give him indication, oh, that's what my opponent is capable of. Just mainly Zerglings, maybe roaches, but not too many.
And that's such a fantastic point. Again, it's like a whole other element to StarCraft that I never even knew about. Make me smarter every day. Fortunately, nobody else knows that I didn't know that. We can just edit that out. Now we did this 3rd hatch. He is going to start getting saturated here. He is just doing it off the back of a bunch of Zerglings, but it does look like he's going to start developing his Roach tech with that Roach speed upgrade going down now. And you know what I like about Sheth? He's mixing in army units with those drones, so he's actually constantly safe. I don't see a moment here when attack poses too much of a threat, and that's because Sheth's doing such a great job of gathering that information with these speedlings and still developing his economy. He's still sneaking drones in there. It's very akin to almost Sen for me. Actually, I see Sen do that quite often.
Yeah, Sheth is definitely formulating very nicely. We saw a little bit of pressure on the bottom here. He's just making sure that the army isn't all together. He wants to split them up as much as possible. It leaves him a little bit of space. We can see this one forward pylon gets taken down. Still, there is another pylon over here, so there can be continuation with this. A hatchery goes down. Oh, and it is in range of that pylon, so he's going to check it out and see what's going on. Meanwhile, the Protoss is moving out.
You know what? That hatchery actually could have been a saving grace. It now sees, okay, there is another forward pylon. I'm under siege. That +2 weapons upgrade for the Protoss about to kick in as the same time as Blink. This is going to be the indicators of aggression. It looks like Squirtle's going to commit to it with that pylon. And now Sheth trying to find reinforcements to block off, but of course they can all just be warped in over here. There's no travel time there. And Sheth's got to rally his defenses. Roach is being produced and massing at the 3rd base. Squirtle, sitting on a massive army of stalkers, is looking to hit him and hit him hard. But it looks like Sheth wants to hit first. Moving up the ramp!
Ooh.
And now being sequestered off away from his friends. The Roaches are going down. Zergling's pulling in, but it's just simply not enough, Retorp. There's that Blink micro, and Squirtle coming out way ahead in that fight, and is now pushing forward.
Yeah, and I think Sheth was trying to bait a couple of force fields, trying to catch his opponent off guard, but I don't think it was enough. There's still a lot of force fields up. Actually, sentries caught in the front, but still Sheth's units are dwindling in number. There are a ton of stalkers still here, and more to come as he can easily warp them with this forward pylon.
And Squirtle's not ahead in supply, but he is ahead militaristically, and that is for dang sure. Now the base being surrendered by Sheth, wisely saying, you know what, I could just throw away units right now, but I need to save them for another day. Pushing forward, not even bothering to finish off that hatchery. Squirtle's looking for blood, and here it comes. Drones being pulled. Roach is doing everything they can, but it's just such brilliant Blink micro from Squirtle, and these force fields are holding back the reinforcements of the Zerg. More units pouring out, but oh well, okay, getting a good concave here, but not enough. Nope. No. Blinks forward, and that's going to be too much.
Burrow goes down, but really this Stalker force is just too much. More units being warped in from the left-hand side. Still that forward pylon is doing a fantastic job. No drones on the natural, no drones on the third base, and now more drones are being pulled in. Hydra's coming near, but a huge blink goes on top of them. There is nothing else for Sheth. Units tab shows 3 roaches, and 2 Hydralisks right now. And this is going to be all she wrote for Sheth.
GG. And Sheth will fall.